All right, welcome back, everyone. As we continue our journey, First Peoples, First Farmers, today we're going to take a look at the globalization of agriculture. All right. Language and culture spread with agriculture. The Indo-European languages probably started in Turkey. We see the spread of the Bantu language in southern Africa, and there was a similar spread of Austronesian-speaking peoples to the Philippines and Indonesian islands. The globalization of agriculture took approximately 10,000 years, but did not spread beyond its core region in New Guinea. It did not spread in a number of other regions, and it was resisted where the land was unsuitable for farming or where there was a great natural abundance. Now, by the beginning of the Common Era, gathering and hunting peoples were a small minority of humankind. So this is a map of the Bantu migrations in Africa. What impact did the Bantu migration have on sub-Saharan Africa? The Bantu migration led to the spread of agricultural and pastoral practices to sub-Saharan Africa. And this came at the expense of indigenous Paleolithic societies of hunter-gatherers who were either conquered, absorbed, or displaced. Traditional hunting and gathering societies in the region today may still be found in the Kalahari Desert region of southwestern Africa. Okay, agriculture led to much greater populations. We see some significant changes in world population. About 10,000 years ago, there were 6 million people. 5,000 years ago, about 50 million people. Think about that large jump in number from a 5,000 year period. The beginning of the Common Era, which is basically year zero, around 250 million people. But there were significant effects on the environment. Fields and grazing land replaced forests and grasslands. Humans modified the genetic composition of plants and animals through selection. And farming did not necessarily improve life for ordinary people. It meant much more hard work. Health deteriorated in early agricultural societies. New diseases from the interaction with animals developed. The first epidemics appeared due to larger communities. And there's a new vulnerability to famine because of the dependence on a smaller number of plants and animals. And there were constraints on human communities. All agricultural people settled in permanent villages. For example, like the case of Bantu in China, which was settled circa 7,000 years ago. All right. This is from the Nok culture, the agricultural and iron-using Nok culture of northern Nigeria in West Africa generated a remarkable artistic tradition of terracotta or fired clay figures depicting animals and especially people. This one dates to somewhere between 500 BCE and 50 CE. Some scholars have dubbed this and many other Nok sculptures thinkers. Does this notion reflect a present-day sensibility, or is it an insight into the mentality of the ancient artists who created the image? So let's look at the traits of this sculpture that provide evidence of the development of the social classes that accompanied the agricultural revolution. The individual portrayed bears several indications of wealth, including a headdress, decorative arm, neck, and waistbands, and even a stylized beard. Now, the posture of the statue, which has led some scholars to denote such sculptures as thinkers, also suggests that these men were elites in the sense that they had a role in ruling the community or had enough wealth and time to dedicate themselves to intellectual pursuits. Now, there was an explosion of technological innovation that accompanied agriculture. Pots, textiles, metallurgy. And then we see also the secondary products revolution, started circa 4000 BCE with a new set of technological changes. There were new uses for domesticated animals, including milking, harvesting wool, using manure, riding, hitching to plows and carts. But that was only available in the Eastern Hemisphere. There's a widespread brewing of alcohol that emerged with the agricultural revolution. Societies were violently displaced or married into agriculturalist families. and the domestic animal populations exploded, but animals lost freedom in relationships. And that's your conclusion for the globalization of agriculture. I'll see you next time.